Hello and welcome. This is Zero Pow Jimmy Pablo doing another talking discussion, episode 25. And in this talking discussion, I will be talking about how corrupt and fraud USAID, which the one that funds our entire, going out in other countries, just did to a bunch of not only US citizens that live in America, but also paid Gamersgate and was responsible because there's a organization that had funded Gamersgate to for these active journalists to do clearly peer assaults on gamers with hostility like gamers like me, so they're using that in a way to defend woke games while spreading influence towards many of their woke agenda to our popular favorite games that make their wokeness be a part of gamers' lives. So that's very serious if you all ask me. And it's also invading personal spaces with left learning propaganda. So if you know what I mean, this is very concerning that USAID would do something like this. It also, now that a new administration in 2025 has taken over, it was exposed and revealed that the USAID was funding using US taxpayer dollars for corrupt payments, and one of them such as 70,000 DEI musical in Ireland, etc. The list can continue going on, including finding payments being made to Gamergate, which leading them for being immediately cut off after they shut that thing down, which is now crippling their ability to continue attacking gamers. Quite shocking what I'm actually saying right now. A lot of taxpayer people, including gamers now, are mad. There's a little thing I want to share in X from the Dodge News of Department of Government Efficiency, and what Elon Musk has discovered, along with the team over there at Dodge, who speaks for the president, revealed what our money, taxpayer money, of the list of the things that we should not be paying at all, and yet they're using our money to pay that. Just listen.
And here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look. Because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either.
Quite shocking, right? After listening to her. Here's the image I wanted to share. This is from, our now president in 2025 throughout the next 4 years. He is kindly upset just by reading the agenda. Billions of dollars. They're being stolen using our taxpayer for all this stuff that just feels really dirty. Shocking, right? But before we get to the Gamersgate, I want to show you another clip that I found from the Louisiana senator when he starts reading out loud the list of things that our taxpayer money was going in from this USAID department. Just take a listen and you'll be completely shocked of what you're about to hear.
Now, Mr. Musk started with the USAID. That handles a lot of foreign aid for America. American people are very generous. But I tell you what Mr. Musk discovered. I find it fascinating. He discovered that the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan. He found that we are giving money to Yemen. He found that we are giving money to Syria. I didn't know that. Some of our foreign aid is going to Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria. He found that the USAID has 10,000 people, 10,000 people, employees, and every year they give away $40 billion. He found that the USAID gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. Our money, taxpayer money. He found that USAID gave money to a transgender clinic in India. I didn't know that. I bet the American people didn't know that. He found that the USAID gave $1.5 million to a Serbian LGBTQ group called Grupa Izadaji. I probably mispronounced that. My apologies. Anyway, they got $1.5 million to, quote, advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. He reviewed a study and then went and checked it. The study was done by the Middle East Forum. They found that USAID spent $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. We're not talking Cub Scout troops here. We're talking about radical organizations around the world. They gave $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. Our taxpayer money. According to this report in Mr. Musk, the USAID has given millions of dollars to, quote, organizations in Gaza controlled by Hamas. Why aren't my colleagues talking about that? Recipients of the money, they found, have, quote, called for their lands to be cleansed from the impurity of Jews. That's what we're giving foreign aid to. I kind of find what he's found out interesting. He found that we gave $2 million, USAID did, for sex changes in Guatemala. He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. He found that we gave $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. He found that we gave $10 million, USAID did, of meals to an al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group called the Nusra Front. Mr. Musk found that we gave $7.9 million of taxpayer money to a project that would teach Sri Lankan journalists to avoid binary gendered language. The USAID took $8 million and gave it to a bunch of journalists in Sri Lanka to teach them how to avoid binary gendered language. I don't know what the hell binary gendered language is. I think I do. You think most taxpayers would support that? Why are we talking about that?
And there you have it. The only reason why I made this episode, I could have put it to a rant, but I didn't feel in the mood to be very pissed off because this is already done. It explains why we're having such an inflation in the United States. This is an article from Smash TG, or called Smash JT. The article explains from why this is linked to Gamergate, how the US government exposed backing the journalists at Gamergate to attack against gamers in a massive scandal. They used $8 million and USAID taxpayer money to attack gamers only when the new administration came out and found out about this with the help of Elon Musk. They immediately cut the fundings. Something that's quite shocking. And if you could see right here, this is the article. How a lot of this shows exactly what went down. And it talks about the political, it talks about the things that, you know, they've been doing and how they were against the new administration, and they wanted to keep the woke agenda going while doing disinformation, harassments. And you could tell just by reading all of these, by looking all of this, this is quite shocking of what I'm looking at. As a gamer myself and the person who lives in the United States, this is embarrassing. Not only that, but using citizens' money from the United States to fund something like this is scrutiny. It's criminal. Everything that goes on and on about this, quietly disturbing. And everything from woke propaganda in gaming to the journalism to defend this thing is absolute trash, garbage, to make us try to get along with the world of wokeness and rhetoric propaganda, to try to make our lives to what? Filled with rainbows? Have women look like guys in games? To having males and males sexual relationships in games? Come on. And they're gonna do that to our favorite games. I don't know what to say about this. Even the Fox News reported this. Everything about what we read in this article explains how bad this situation is. And I'll leave a link to this so you can read it in more and more. But what I know and what I've seen from my own review of this, it's quite shocking that our taxpayer dollars was going on something like this. And I'm not here to judge people, to tell them about own propagandas, theories. No. This is quite frankly how a party from one side can screw over people's money to make economy worse. That's how bad this is right now. And it's mostly on Democrats for doing this. The Democrat Party, the people who run it, who wanted to continue another, we say, years of Democrat to continue this thing that they were pulling up with polonial or the woke, to have Gamergate do something like this, of having anti-gamer bias. I'm just looking at myself thinking, what happened here? What happened to the times where we actually were using our games, using our money to help not just the economy, but just to, have games that can just ride through, which one looks better than the other, with actual depth, artwork, story development, how amazing characters are, including the fascinating world, what we're exploring. Not to mention developers putting time and effort to make such a great game, and not a bad one. Not one that they're forcing wokeness into something that's interfering with what our game was supposed to be. It feels like something was, like I said, this turning point had gamers come to realize what kind of a party this was and what it was doing to many gamers like me. All of the industries are silent right now. Xbox industries are silent. They're not speaking right now. Sony completely fired the CEO and replaced it with their own that speaks English from Japan. And they're not happy right now, a way that America has done. That's why they fired and changing the organization to get back their claim because of how bad it's gotten. How they lost so much money, if you know about the Concord thing that happened. Nintendo are shocked. PC people are completely just the same as us. Freaked out. Probably disbelieved that the money was being used to attack us. Gamers like us. How corrupt and fraud this USAID did with all its schemes and money laundering, wasteful spending it was doing to not even any of it helping to or benefit to American citizens, to US citizens. I just cannot fathom the amount of loss for words, how a lot of citizens like me are mad right now, how speechless we are and upset that laundry wasting spending spring that they're using for when our hard earned taxpayer dollars that are going into this was being used for. This is a shocking to the United States of America. A shocking to people, hard work, money earned that they've been using it for. A shocking that everything about why gamers were being attacked, why all the inflation has been happening in our economy, the United States economy, that went with this funding is just something to tell you why US elections matter. Why, if you're like me, a US citizen, how a party that you thought you can trust, that you thought you can put your earnings into, can hide something so evil and corrupt and displacement and a complete humiliating to just use you like that, to use your money like that. I can't even fathom right now. So long is Gamergate's the people over there that pay Gamergate fundings are cut, they can't continue because their aggression towards harassment and assault on gamers is now come to an end, where they can't continue to get paid to do something like that. It is quite literally very shocking. I don't know why Polio to Gamergate would do something like this, but with DEI gone and this harassment going on, it's just, I'm glad that many people did the right thing, voted for the right person to able to uncover the spending of where USAID was doing and what led to the exposure of how these journalists were doing in Gamersgate. This is very shocking. Absolutely criminal. And anybody who's watching this, anybody who's finding a lot of things of USAID is doing, please let me know in the comments. But I just can't pronounce my own sentences right now, how my thoughts are processing right now, the situation that now USAID is being shut down for the things it's done and for what it did with Gamersgate. These transitions of payments should never have been something like this in the first place. And as a gamer like me, to let everyone from every community, doesn't matter what console you use, to reveal and see this heresy is unfathomable and just unbelievable. I'm trying to process this to figure out why no one in the party said anything, why they were hiding so much of this. And you could tell that there is protests from the Democrats who are trying to think that this is a bad thing and that they don't want their thing to go. But when you come to the point where your money, taxpayer money, was using to something like this, you kind of figured out, why should we care to support the cause when this is very unacceptable and disrespectful to many hardworking individuals out there who put their hours and time every day, not just to feed, fund, or live peacefully in their society, in the society they're living in, but it's also disrespectful what you use their hardworking earns from their own pocket to do something like this. Anyone like me who shocked to reveal this, I request to you that if you are one of those who do care, who do want them to call you, please get their attention, have them give you a call. Tell them, they need to tell these individuals, a lot of them actually from the whole country of the United States, why they did something like this, why they didn't let them know about it, or why they didn't just tell them the hard truth. Rather, they were scared, it was against their policies, etc., etc. It goes on and on and on. And then we do, as a communities or as a country, have to process this to figure out how can we make a difference here that can stop this heresy, treachery of what our government from the previous administration did. And this is a bad look for the Democrat Party, a bad look on how they used the funding. And I'm convinced that why should I continue voting for the Democrat Party? Why should I go back to that party if they're just gonna do something like this to a gamer, to our economy, and as regular citizens of their hardworking money? If you can't even deliver trust to the people living in the United States, this is just, quite frankly, one of the biggest, disgraceful, humiliating I have ever seen. And it's hopefully that from this rhetoric and exposure that revealed these bad stuff, that they finally come out to hopefully give everyone they deserve. As I know a refund will not likely happen, but maybe accept getting a lawsuit, including maybe, because again, these are two ways that can go, but most likely an apology for everything that they used the wrong way that should never have happened with our taxpayer money. Let this be a lesson to the party that if you want our votes, if you want people to trust you, this wokeness, this rhetoric, this delusional thinking has to stop. You get to a point where you don't want to be a part of that anymore. You don't want to follow this anymore. That these individuals are just convincing us, why are we continuing to follow this when this is what you're delivering to us? Any gamer would see right through this and be ashamed if they did go to this party thinking that it's something great. They should be ashamed of how bad this party has become, what it has did to many individuals. And as we go through the years to go to more US elections, we gotta make sure that this type of bad rhetoric doesn't continue making bad decisions to hurt our taxpayer money, that it should have been used the right way, rather to benefit American people, US citizens, to the economy, but nothing to be wasting money to things that don't necessarily should be at all in the first place, that causing why the inflation went up, why it's really bad. And I'm looking at myself, not even Obama from the times would do something like this. And I remember living in an economy with everything low, and he was a Democrat. What happened? What happened? This is embarrassing to not just the current one that's running right now, Trump, but embarrassing to him, Obama, that he's completely disbelieved what this party has become. I'm Jimmy Pablo. That's it's gonna be it for this episode. Stay tuned for anything else. I'm gonna be signing out because I think we need time to process this and to move forward and make the right decision.